Hi, I'm Kevin Gray. I'm the youth director here at Hickson United Methodist Church, and I love jazz. I love it so much. I keep it playing in the house all the time, and I really love the melodies and the interesting chords that it makes, but more than that, I really love how it just moves so fast, but people play right out of their heart without even really thinking about it. And because of that, I really want to play jazz. I want that experience. I want to be able to do it, but it's so intimidating to think about because it's a lot to try to take on. And in the same way, I think about some of the things that Paul is trying to describe to us, especially in Ephesians chapter 4. He says this. He says, "And be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to clothe yourselves with the new self, created according to the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness." And then he goes on to describe what that righteousness and holiness looks like. And he talks about like never acting out of our anger and sin. And he talks about like only using our words for building up other people, or putting away all of our bitterness, or always acting out of kindness and tenderheartedness and forgiveness. And the challenging thing is life is always coming at us so fast that it's really hard to just do that. Well, it's a lot like jazz music. One of the things that you have to do in jazz in order to play it is you have to begin, before you even hit a note, to think of yourself as a jazz musician. You have to change your identity in a way. And the thing that does for you is it gives you something to strive towards. It gives you something to practice for. It gives you a motivation and a goal. But best of all, it keeps you from being discouraged because it keeps your eyes forward on where you're going and not where you've been. And so you can be forgiving with yourself when you mess up, and you can also celebrate when you hit milestones. And so this actually helps us to keep us from being discouraged, and we can live into something new. And the other thing that this practice takes in jazz is it takes like doing it so slow and with such intentionality that you can't mess up. And so in the same way, there's two things that I think Paul's calling on us to think about here is to think of your identity as being Christ, that he has given you his very identity through what he's done on the cross and the work of the Spirit in your life. And we cooperate with that new identity and the Spirit's work in us by living with an intentionality. And when we do this intentionally, even though life seems to be coming at us really fast, eventually things will just automatically start to flow out of us, and we'll operate out of love and forgiveness and God's goodness. And before you know it, we actually will be playing some spiritual jazz. And so I want to challenge you this week to think of yourself with this new identity that Christ has given you, and to be intentional about your practice and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. God bless you, and I hope you're playing some spiritual jazz real soon.